Today is the first episode of Mindset Monday, where it's just the boys kicking back, shooting shit. We got Larry Lanny out of St. Petersburg, Florida. He's the Arizona State leader, and he does an incredible job. He is the main reason why that St. Petersburg market is on fire. Here in Scottsdale with me, the man that just turned 21 today.
Let's go.
He is a little sick, but that doesn't stop him from having a damn good time.
The show must go on.
Arizona State leader, Jacob Buckley. The man of the hour. He was on the Forbes Next 1000s list. He owns a vertical farming company in Scottsdale, Arizona. Spent a couple years overseas learning from the best and meeting with President Bill Clinton. Mr. Lucas Baghdadi.
Let's go.
And last but not least, your host of the Young Professional Show, me, Mr. Andrew Hatfield. Before we kick off the show, I would like to make sure that you guys all like, follow, and subscribe on the platform that you're listening to, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Feel free to go check out our Instagram and help us grow this page. We look forward to bringing fire content. And without further ado, Larry Lanny, let's kick off this Mindset Monday.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, that intro deserves to be acknowledged. We got Lucas doing a golf clap here for those of you that are just listening in on Spotify or Apple. Yeah, I mean, I felt like I was walking into the octagon, you know?
Yeah, you know, that's what I was going for. I grew up listening to that Bruce Buffer. You guys know who Bruce Buffer is?
Of course.
I mean, he's the guy with the mic. He's the guy that does that voice, right?
He's the guy. Yeah.
Right.
And what's that one thing he says? Doesn't he have one thing? It's time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was going for.
You know the best part about him is his brother was doing boxing, the same thing his whole life. And for him to do UFC is unbelievable. It's incredible.
They got the vocal genetics of like Jesus Christ and Fergie. They it's unbelievable what they have going on. Larry, what do you got on the agenda?
Yeah, man. So Monday mindset stuff. You know, obviously in what we do and you know, any sort of business that you're in, any sort of entrepreneurial minded person consumes a lot of that, that content geared towards mindset, and Monday's just the day for it. I mean, Eminem, it just kind of, it's good for a social post. It's just good to like kickstart your week on a high note, right? I wanted to start just by like getting into and let's sort of unbox what Monday's like for you and what you do, right, to get into that mindset. 'Cause I don't know about y'all, I do not roll out of bed all days. This morning I happened to, but all day is just like, let's get it popping, baby. I'm ready to rock it. You know what I mean? Like, it takes some actionable things. And it's different for everybody. I think a lot of people prescribe, actionable steps or a plan or an outline to guide yourself to that mindset. But I think it's different for everybody. What are you guys doing?
I wish that I could say that I popped out of bed like a piece of toast this morning, but I did not at all.
If you did, though, what kind of bread were you?
I'd probably be something with a little bit of crunch, a little bit of grain to it. Like, you could use creamy peanut butter on me and you'd still get a little crunch.
I think you'd be Ezekiel bread because you got to keep it in the freezer.
Hey.
Oh, we are iced out on a Monday morning.
You'd
No,
be
but-
Ezekiel bread because you're like, only found in like the health food stores, and you're like $9 a freaking loaf.
Really? God, you know what? That's a hell of a compliment. I think I'm more of like a wonder.
Wonder bread.
Wonder Bread?
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not the
Jacob,
worst. I'm
what
not
are
the
you?
worst.
I don't know. Like, I think like burnt toast. Some
We're
little fire
talking
to it.
type of bread, my guy. We're not
Oh.
talking. Yeah. What kind of bread are you?
I don't know. I don't know too many types of bread
So
like
just
you
white
guys
then, I
do.
guess.
I've never heard of, what did he say, Ezekiel bread?
You never heard of it?
Ezekiel bread.
Never
I,
heard
I
of
eat Ezekiel bread if it makes you feel better, Jacob.
Yeah,
All right, so
yeah,
we
but
just got white toast over there with Jacob. What are you
got-
rocking, Lucas?
To be honest with you, I got a little French baguette in me. If I had to guess.
That is so true.
If I had to be honest.
If I had to be honest, there's no phoniness here. You're gonna get a crunch. You're gonna get the whole bite, the whole shebang. You can make whatever you want out of it. It's gonna be a good time. Just make
French-
sure I'm toasty. That's the most
Oh
important.
my god.
the French baguette is the perfect answer for you, Lucas.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well,
I just cried.
I gotta say, if we're gonna talk about Mondays and getting toasty, I will say that for me, I have to start my Monday the day before. Like, in all
Mhm.
honesty, my Sunday is crucial to my week. That means that whether it's the gym or whatever it is that's my release, I have started on Sunday. I know exactly what I got to get done this week. I've prepared mentally. Because to be honest with you, I'm doing so many things right now. And, I would say my biggest weakness is that I'm doing so many things that I have to do so many things to be prepared to do all those things throughout the week. And I'm a high maintenance guy when it comes to some of that stuff. So, for example, I got to go and work out. I got to go play basketball for however long I got to shoot hoops for. I got a sauna. I got to do the whole shebang so that I'm so mentally clear for this week. So that when we start our week with a podcast, when we start our week with talking to clients in real estate, when I have to go figure out new chefs to talk to, whatever it is, I'm on point. I'm feeling good. Because if this isn't good, I ain't gonna have a successful week, and that is not okay with me. That is not jiving me. That is not toasty French toast, French baguette.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What do you do to plan out your week on Sunday? Like, what's your plan?
so I always kind of know. So throughout the week before, I kind of have already put appointments together. I kind of know that I got a lot of stuff going on already the next week. And so my Sunday will be going through each appointment and just knowing, okay, what are we going to talk about? What questions do I need to ask? What do I need to achieve from those conversations that's going to help propel me forward? Because the biggest thing I learned just starting in my career, whatever it is I love to waste time. And I cannot afford to do that anymore. So I got a little 1-2 punch in me now where if I can just get the two things, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or however long it is to just get the two goals that I have set for each meeting, I'll feel so much better about my progression. So that Sunday is about going through each one, figuring out what I need to accomplish. Yeah.
Yeah. Jacob, you do a really good job at waking up in the morning for the most part. I mean, I don't really know because that's how much I sleep in is I don't even know when Jacob's like here or not because he may already be gone.
Yeah,
Jacob, what do you do in the morning?
luckily, like I found my outlet, which is boxing, and I love it so much. Getting up and boxing and doing something to like activate your brain like that is just so beneficial for the rest of the day and the rest of the week. So luckily, didn't go today because of my sickness, but on Monday mornings I do boxing, and that
Oh, yeah.
kickstarts
Like
the week.
early. It sounds like early. Like when I think of boxing, I think of like you're in the gym by 6.
Oh yeah, like 6:30 a.m. I'm
Wow.
starting.
Huh?
Mhm.
Good for
J-
you, man.
Jacob, do you already see it translating to other parts of your life, like business or work ethic and outside of just boxing too?
I think so. I think because like I do a class and like it is not easy. Boxing is not an easy sport. It's lifting. It's using that's something I don't think people realize is it's using every single muscle in your body. Like every single muscle is working at the same time. So I feel dead afterwards, but I also feel great at the same time. It's a good feeling.
Larry, do you have an outlet like that?
Well, not Monday mornings, right? And typically not mornings. But I am frequenting on the pickleball courts is what I do. That's what I live for. That and yoga, I would call my two outlets, because you get that meditative aspect of yoga. I only do the hot class, so I'm like in a sauna, right? Which I need sauna too. And I'm like stretching out all the soreness from workouts in the week. So yeah, and then pickleball is like kind of nurtures just that competitive, just strategy, hand-eye coordination, and networking. Man, there's a huge pickleball community. Probably the fastest growing sport I know of. So,
Dude, Larry, did you see yesterday at 12 o'clock your time? They had Andre Agassi, they had all these professional tennis players, these legends that were playing pickleball, and there was a $1 million purse.
oh yeah,
It's incredible.
on ESPN too.
Yeah, it was on ESPN. I mean, talk about a growing sport. Actually, it's incredible you talk about pickleball in regards to networking, because I honestly think that that's probably one of the things I'd love to personally implement more into my my week of planning if I could, because I really think that that network is everything, especially for our fields. And like pickleball is such an easy way. You need a partner more than likely whenever you're playing. So that can be a stranger, someone you don't know that well yet, or someone you do know very well. And just where it can lead is unbelievable. I mean, you're playing all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I play about 3 times a week.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's incredible. And like we've recently had the outlet, thanks to Lucas. We do a basketball on Wednesdays, and oh my God, I forgot like how much you need to like be able to let like your competitive side show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you got that dog in you, you gotta let it out, and that's on Wednesdays, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then on the networking side too is fantastic, because the league seems to have grown more and more and more. More people are showing up, and we just met an incredible guy named Paul who's going to be coming on the podcast here soon. He owns a liposuction company, which is so random, but I love it. Yeah. And talk about good networking. It's right there. So like, I guess, hey, first tip of the day for anybody that's listening to this, what can you do to go like network? And that's a pretty basic tip, right? But like it's true. Mm-hmm. We're talking about niche markets. We just had a meeting all day. Well, not all day, but all morning about niche marketing. And like when it comes to starting other brands and other things, who are you directly targeting and how can you hit them the best?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a ton of, BNI and network meetups and network seminars and trainings. But like the funniest thing is that like, you can just go do that anywhere you go. Like, I talked to a lot of new agents, like, where do you get, your last 3 deals from, or, where do you get most of your business from? And it's like, just wherever I am. I mean, the only way that doesn't work is if you're just nowhere, if you just sit at home all day long. Like, people who, are into sport fishing, there's a group for that. Or if you're into cycling or, painting or whatever it is.
You guys want to hear something that I was thinking about doing? And I'm not the inventor of this. So many agents do this on a day-to-day basis, but going to a cafe and on the back of my shirt, maybe having something that says like ask me about real estate or like do you know what your home's worth, and getting like a case for the front of my MacBook that says like, you know, something along those same lines. Have you guys ever done that, you know, or like do you know anybody that has?
I mean, I have a sticker on my MacBook cover that says EXP, and then it says list, sell, repeat.
I love that.
Dang.
We got, Andrew, we have our license plates, which has our team name and then our phone number.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I don't know if you could do that in Florida.
Why?
I don't know. It just seems like it seems like there would be other people that I would see having that already.
Oh, like
Are you talking about on your license plate or on the cover?
Like the frame.
on the plate?
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah.
Dude, I got a friend, an agent. He drives a Toyota Prius, and he has his license plate says realtor, and he actually got a deal from driving in his neighborhood. The person that was however many homes down saw that it said realtor, drove over to him and said, "Hey man, I'm trying to get in this neighborhood." Or I can't remember if it was a listing or a buyer, whatever it is. Person came over to them, approached them, and actually got a deal just because his license says realtor. You already know the next thing I did was to make sure I could do it for my Subaru. I couldn't, unfortunately, but I was like, oh my God, it's brilliant.
It
I-
is.
You know, I'd love to ask you guys, Jacob, Drew, and Larry, you guys are phenomenal at building rapport. Like, what do you guys do when you go into a cafe, gym, wherever it is? Like, are you going in there just saying, "Hey, is anyone looking to buy or sell real estate?" Like, what are some tricks or like little tidbits that you guys do that is like gets people to kind of reveal that information about themselves, so then you can add your value from there?
I mean, I feel like that's in reverse for me. Like I add the value first, right? And then you know, and with that comes building rapport.
Yeah.
And then it opens up the door for me to you know, explain what it is I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I honestly just focus more on like being like having consistent energy. And Lucas, I see this in you too. And that's something that I've realized about myself like ever since I graduated high school was I have this ability to like brighten people's day. And I'm not trying to say that in like a weird way, but like every time, you know, I come up and you meet me in person or see me in person, like I'm going to bring the energy. Like I am down to literally see you and hit 10 push-ups right then and there. And so like for me, it's just showing up, having that energy, firing somebody up, and then just getting to know them over time. And I think it's so simple as like, if you really wanted them to know what you do, all you have to do is ask them what they do.
Oh yeah.
It's that easy. I mean, they're going to say like, oh, you know, I work in a grocery store. Oh, dude, that's so sweet. What's that like? And then, you know, have a 10-minute conversation, actually care, actually listen. Eventually they're going to ask you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like going off of Andrew, I think like the biggest thing for me is the boxing class. And like a lot of it is collaboration. So you're doing mitt work with like new people every week, kind of like with the pickleball thing. And so like at the end of mitt work, it's like saying like, dude, good shit, like hyping them up and then getting into a conversation about exactly what Drew said. Like, what do you do? Like, how did you get into boxing? Blah, blah, blah. They say, how did you get into boxing? Well, you know, I do real estate, and this just like kind of this is what I do for like the fitness aspect of my business. Just anything to get into that conversation.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. And you know, I was actually bartending the other night, like 2 nights ago. I was bartending, and you know, people at the bar, any way that I could possibly make it up, like I'm just saying, yeah, you know, I'm actually a realtor by day, so this is perfect by night. I get to meet people like you. Oh, you're a pilot? That's amazing. Do you fly commercial? What do you do? You know, and like it's just so easy. Just having the confidence and going out and saying it. But Lucas, one thing that you're so good at, dude, is I can call Lucas and I can guess like what he's gonna say, which is the best thing ever. You want to have that personality, because I call Lucas any time of the day, and it's like, tell me right now, like, what do we got going on, baby? And you know, that just fires me up. I love that. So I try to implement that in my life as much as possible. Luke, have you always been that way, Lucas?
Dude, as funny as it is, and I think together it's even a whole nother level, but like to have that level of energy, I've just always had it. For me, there's just something about making someone feel really good that I don't know if it's a selfish thing that I need to do it for or whatever it is, but to see someone's day made, I can just see how far that can go. And I've always had it. And it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like. I don't care what your background is. It's just like everyone can smile at the end of the day. Everyone can be impacted. And I think that we get so caught up every day with like different patterns that if I can interrupt your day and say like, you could be having the worst day ever, you could be having a tired day or whatever it is that you're dealing with. I just want you to be able to call me and know that you're going to be fired up, because at the end of the day, like, we got to enjoy ourselves. We got to remember this isn't everyday life is how you feel in that moment. It's like, what can we do to get better every single day? And if I can help interrupt the bad day and help encourage the good day, it's always been with me to be doing that, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, because the other day I heard someone say energy is your currency. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
ever since that just has stuck with me. I've been trying to do better. Like if I'm not feeling, like even today I feel sick, but like I'm still trying to like have that energy.
Yeah.
That's so good. Energy is your currency, dude. That's
Mhm.
going on a t-shirt for starters.
Yeah.
And
Or a snapback.
Yeah.
snap. Oh, I'm down for
Mm.
that. One quote that I heard, gosh, and I heard this, like 4 years ago, and I heard it at just the perfect time. It wasn't 4 years ago. It was 2.5 years ago, when I was failing my real estate test over and over again. I was in the worst cycle, hated where I worked, and I would come into the restaurant and people would be like, how's your day? And me being just so selfish, having a bad day, like, kind of shitty. I failed my real estate test for the 15th time.
Did you really take it 15?
I took it 18.
Oh, you don't want to know how many times I took it. I don't even want to.
But I would come in with that attitude. And then literally one day I just saw this video. And he's like, someone's going to ask you every day, how's your day going? And you got to answer with fantastic, tremendous, I'm living the dream. And now I will never, ever answer that question. Even if I'm having the shittiest day ever, I will never answer that question without saying, I'm living the dream. Fantastic. I'm blessed. How's yours? Because you're putting that energy out. You know what I mean?
Drew, how does it make you feel when you say that? Like straight up, how do you feel when you tell someone you're feeling fantastic? You already see a difference within them too?
Yeah. Like I think people enjoy hearing that. If you came up and asked, like if you were having a mediocre day, you come up and ask me, hey Drew, how's your day going? I go, man, how does that make you feel? You're like, oh shit, like maybe that kind of puts me in where I am. But if I can come up and every day I'm saying, you know what, I'm living the dream, maybe they're going to think about that themselves. So
you get more out of people too, like you're more inviting to conversate with than someone who's like, how you doing? Nah. You're like, all right, well, I better kind of dance around this conversation or hold back a bit. They're already having a shit day. Maybe I won't even, maybe I'll just say some niceties and keep it moving.
Yeah. And then just be genuinely curious. Like when you ask somebody like, how's your day? What'd you do this morning? Just ask people what they did this morning. People love to answer that. Just ask them.
And I do want to tell you a little trick that I do that works wonders for me, and I always find it hilarious sometimes. Is, for example, when I go to the gym, a lot of the staff, I love to cheer up. I just love to see them be happy. And sometimes they'll say to me, like, I'll say, how's your day? And they'll be like, meh, or it's all right, it's okay. I'll be like, oh, why is it only all right? And I'll do that all day to everyone. And it's so funny, the responses. Sometimes people don't even know why they're saying it's all right. Or sometimes if they do, you'd be surprised how much people would be willing to tell you, because people really do love to talk about themselves, but they don't know that they need to talk about themselves to be able to alleviate stress. So if you're willing to be an outlet and say, yo, what's going on? Why are you only all right? And if they're able to reveal it to you, then you just come in and you're able to help immediately. And just being a friend or whatever they needed in that moment, you'd be surprised how far that goes. Because then the next conversation they have, you know what? I'm actually great when someone asks me how they're going. And then that you never know what that can lead to. So I always love to challenge it. It's also hilarious to see sometimes how people respond to it. So
It is.
it's a good little thing to do.
But it's amazing how little amount of people like somebody has like that in their circle. Like I'm blessed to be able to call any of you guys and I have that energy right then and there. But
Yeah.
for the average person, there may be nobody. There may be nobody
Oh, yeah.
throughout their week that acts this way. And that's so detrimental. I
And
mean,
you don't know.
You just
Yeah.
don't know.
how many. That's why I think great communication begins with, I guess rapport or connecting.
Mhm.
And I think that is something that Oprah Winfrey said once upon a time. And if you guys all pause and look
Wow.
underneath your seat, there's a little present for you. What'd you get, Andrew?
I got an expo marker.
Oh, thanks, Oprah.
Yes, thank you, Oprah. Side note, did you know Oprah takes a helicopter to the grocery store?
I did hear that.
Really?
Wow.
You've heard that, Jacob? That's so random.
I know. That's wild.
Wild.
Yeah,
Oh
I know.
my God.
I think I've heard that from you.
There's a really good
Keep in
chance.
mind, we
Wow.
talk like most of the day, every day.
You know what, honestly, I want to give you guys kudos for is you guys are also a wealth of knowledge. As silly as that little fact is, like you'd be surprised at being able to share that so quickly and being able to be witty about it is it's incredible what that could do for someone to tell them that. Like, and I guess that's a good Monday mentality thing to talk about is so I personally think the more we can learn right is always the better. And that's why I love, Larry, when you mentioned like ChatGPT earlier, everyone's always talking about that. I now kind of brought it upon myself of, well, how could I learn as much as I can from this, new feature of AI? And I realized that I can literally take any book that I've always said I wanted to read and say, give me the top 10 most important facts I should know about this book. And you'd be surprised, like, once you learn those things and be able to share that wealth of knowledge throughout conversations throughout the day and the week, oh my God. And now I know Oprah flies a helicopter to get to the store. I can't wait to go tell 10 people that. You know what I mean?
Fly it. I think she's just chilling in it.
I'm chilling, flying. I just want to know where she's landing at the grocery store. I'm gonna be looking for a helicopter pad at Sprouts now.
That was the first thing I thought. But you bring up a good point, man, is like part of keeping a solid mindset is remaining teachable. We're in a weird, I don't even want to call it a market, right? Because we're running a show that's open to, if you're listening, it's open to everything. We all happen to just sell real estate. Lucas does a few things. But just if you're a young professional listening to this show, we're open to having you on. We hope you get something out of it. It just so happens we talk about real estate a lot. But I mean, you bring up a good point, is just being open to learning. We live in a world that is constantly changing. In the last 3-4 years, things have completely changed, and if you know it all and you've got your niche mastered and there is no more knowledge to be obtained, wait a year or 2 or 3. I mean, it's that process or that niche or that business is going to completely be turned on its head, and there's going to be people doing it, more different and better than you, guaranteed.
Yeah. I also think we live in a world where you can just learn the most crazy, stupid stuff. Like every night before I go to sleep, I'm always learning something. There's a YouTube channel called Smarter Every Day where they focus. He literally does anything, like how does a farming irrigation system work, to how did they land the Apollo on the moon, and he will go talk to the astronaut or to the creator. And these are incredible videos. Smarter Every Day. And that's just one facet of a way to learn. You know what I mean? So like being able to just dive deep and keep your brain stimulated on whatever it is so interesting and so easy to do. I think you just got to watch videos.
Maybe one of the things we should talk about too is focus, because I feel like focus with learning is that formula is unbelievable, right? Like imagine every single day. Let's say you're in a financial crunch right now and you really need to figure out money and stuff like that. I guarantee you, and I think I actually heard this from Patrick David on a podcast, and he was mentioning, I guarantee you for 2 years, every single day for 5 minutes, if you learned one little thing about money or read one little thing for just 5 minutes a day, you would not have to worry about money for the rest of your life, just for after 2 years. I mean, I'd even challenge you, after a month, you'd be surprised at the difference in the strides in your mentality would make. But I do think that comes down to that focus too. Like what any advice or any good things you guys want to talk about there? Because I think that's huge.
Well, and I want to talk, Lucas, because I guess I'll kind of announce it. We're starting a clothing company. And this clothing company is called Gear Clothing Co. Gear stands for Grind Young, Retire Early. And, to be entrepreneurs, we're constantly just figuring out what do we do? How do we even start a clothing company? But one thing that Lucas always says was, you guys know, if we could spend 30 minutes, even just a week, if we could spend 30 minutes a week talking about what we're going to do and walk away with actionable steps, I have zero doubts that we'll become successful, and we'll probably be more knowledgeable than 90% of the clothing company market.
Oh, absolutely. And we have 6 of us, guys. We literally have 6 of us. Like, we meet for 30 minutes a week. We all walk away with one task to do. I mean, you're walking with over 1,800 things completed by the end of the year. Do that in 5 years. That's a stupid amount of things that are being accomplished. Like, there's no doubt, if anything, we learned more than possible to accomplish that. But also, we've made so much momentum and progress. Like, there's no denying math. You can't deny that would be amazing what the outcome and result would come to.
Yeah. No, it's just true. It's just math.
Yeah.
Math is cool.
Larry's our number, guys, just so any viewers know that. So if you want to talk numbers, you got to talk to Larry.
Yeah.
Is Larry the numbers guy? Yeah.
He's good with numbers. I'll tell you that much. He looks good with numbers.
He is.
Well, because Larry, do you break down your, like, the fundamental things in your life? Do you break it down by numbers?
Like in my business or in my personal life?
Like are you one of those people that's like, every 7 conversations I have turns into a transaction?
I am that guy. I could tell you right now how many.
You're like, I need to have 658 conversations about real estate per year.
Yeah, but it's also broken down even further than that, and into where am I having these conversations and who are they? You know what I mean? I mean, the conversations that I have with people in my life and who are already in my orbit are different than the conversations I have if I were to cold call somebody. That converts at a much different ratio. But yeah, man, numbers are everything. I mean, what you can't manage what you don't measure, and I measure everything. I'd rather measure it and not need it. And the math sucks, but imagine how much time you can save yourself by just having metrics, man. Like, it is super, super important. And I think as new agents or new business owners, or if you're, a gym owner, or if you, trade stock. I mean, obviously if you trade stocks and then, math and numbers, but anything you do, man, I mean,
Yeah.
hundreds of years ago, you had the Mayans doing, they were like, there's like 100 million stars over there. And like they built a whole fucking calendar out of it. You know what I mean? Like it's worked for that long, dude. And yeah, knowing your numbers. And we talked about that the other day on a private call, and it's important.
Yeah.
Larry, can I ask you this though? So many people, especially in real estate, they get such a paralysis by analysis, right? What do you do that, like, after you figured out the numbers? What do you like? Is it as simple as you just start? Is there something else you got to do? And like what allows you to just be like, I gotta go now? And same for you guys too.
Oh man, what sparks the action? I just, I'm not perfect, man. So there are weeks where I am stuck in mud, But what kind of catapults me into action is just, I think that comes down to your why and your goals. You know what I mean? Like if I have no idea why I need to sell, 15 million next year, or have a GCI of $250,000, or whatever your goals are, it's not as personal to you. It's not, you're not going to take, that quite as personally. But yeah, I take action every day now out of habit. But again, there's still some days where I'm just like,
Yeah, to go off that, I heard a David Goggins quote when I was, you guys all know David?
Of course.
Oh yeah. Be hard. Stay hard.
I heard a David Goggins quote that like kind of altered my brain chemistry, because like for so long I was running off of motivation. Motivation is not hard for me to find usually, especially if it's something I really care about. But at the end of the day, motivation is temporary. Like no matter how much you care, no matter what, like you're not gonna have motivation when you need it. And so that's like, it's going deeper, a step deeper, and that's tying into like your why, Larry. Like you got to run off of a why. You can't run off of motivation. And for me, like my why, I think it's so crazy because I see both perspectives. Is I'm only 20. I know time is my biggest thing right now. I have so much of it, but in my mind, I'm running out of it very quickly. Every month that goes past is like, just feels like a loss. It's a loss. And so that's the way I look at it. And that's one of the big things that just keeps me going, was like, I want to have this by 25. I want to be this by 27. And I don't want to be doing this by 30.
Yeah. Like with what Andrew's saying, Andrew and I took a lot of risk to get to these points in our life. Like we moved away from our small town in Iowa. Everybody we knew, everything we knew, moved away from all that to come here and get to those like goals in our life. So we're like, in our mind, like, we have the why, but like now we got to get there. That makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
And like today, like it's my 21st birthday today.
Woo!
But I'm spending it getting one step closer to our merch company. I'm spending it doing this podcast with you guys. Like that's just our mindset.
Yeah, it's huge.
For sure. Well, and I think like at the end of the day, you only live once.
Yeah.
It's how you want to spend it, right? Like Lucas, we've had the conversation of like why we didn't go to college, but you have the perspective of someone that did. And I told you I'm envious of the people who get to sit around and party, because I am. And then you were like, trust me, give it 2 years, those people are going to be envious of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's how you want to spend it.
Dude, I mean, I'll tell you straight up, college is just the most expensive friends I've ever made. But I will also tell you that, when you guys did your podcast with Austin Zabek, you guys know I quote this all the time. I just thought it was so powerful. It's like a lot of people go into college and they're gonna have so much debt afterwards, when there's so many skills and so many things that they could do at a young age that could make them a lot of money or at least enough to afford college where it makes sense for a profession that would actually level you up. Like I just thought that was so powerful of saying, hey, imagine at 18, you got your real estate license or you got your mortgage license or insurance license or whatever it is. Grabbed a mentor or someone that was willing to teach you, make a few sales, learn a lot about the business, and then bring in college when it makes sense to really help you. Who cares if you're going to college at 26? If you're going to go and it's going to be 4 years or 2 years or whatever you need to do to become, let's say, a lawyer or whatever it may be that makes sense, that would be that to me, that math and formula makes way more sense than getting for example, I did political science. Like that was cute, but I'm talking about real estate. I'm on a young professional podcast. I'm starting a t-shirt company with you guys. What did that ever do to help start those things? Which A, I'm passionate about. Two, these relationships. I didn't know any of you guys from college. I didn't pay for your friendship, as funny as that is to say about college. But like, look at where we're striving to accomplish and what we're doing, and made no difference if I went to college. It makes a difference if I had gone to college later because of whatever I could accomplish during that time. And also, you got to give a major shout out to Drew and Jacob for what they're doing at such a young age. Like anyone that's your guys' age and that's maybe has a mentality of I'm stuck in the city I'm in or whatever it is, like this is your chance to follow Andrew and Jacob in their journey, like, and see what these guys are going to accomplish and not only use them as inspiration, but also the courage and the cojones to freaking say, I'm ready to jump out and I'm going to go move from Iowa to Arizona. Like, doesn't take more courage than that. And then my favorite part too is I just met Andrew's mom, and it was Jacob, Andrew, and I, and Andrew's mom, and we're just talking about like how the fact that you literally went up to your mom and said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be moving to Arizona." I think you said, I think what you give her like a month heads up too. Is literally leaving like next month, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm going. Jacob's coming with. We're going together, and we're just gonna make this thing happen." Like, please, can you please talk about that mentality of like what did it take to just be like, yeah, let me get out of this place, let me go start the life that I want to live.
Yeah. Well, I think like it's bigger than me, and it's bigger than it's bigger than just saying like I want to go live this life. Like I don't it's when Lucas, it's funny you asked when we were in that meeting, you asked me, do you think it's something that you're born with or something that's taught in your childhood? And I really am trying to figure that out about myself because I don't know. I mean, I had great parents, but like part of me thinks the more that I see other people my age, part of me thinks that this is just something you're born with. And I got that bug that's just like, it's bigger than me. I can't put it into words, but like, yeah, I just got to go out and like, I just got to fucking grind. Like that's just part of me. And Jacob has it too. Like why do you think he just jumped on this ship with me? You know, and he grinds like a dog. And so, yeah, I mean, the mentality is just like taking the road that's way less traveled makes for way more of an interesting life. I think that's definitely true.
Absolutely. And Lucas, I'll if it makes you feel any better, I'll send you a Venmo request for like 1 month's tuition for my friendship. Since you didn't have to pay. But,
Larry, I'd rather give that money to you than so many other people, my friend.
Yeah.
Never, man. Yeah, what is up with that, man? You guys, I haven't even thought about that too much. Are you guys just up and moved? Like, explain how that worked real quick, because I was thinking when Lucas proposed that question and then you responded, I was thinking, I was half listening and then half like, what was I doing at 21? Because I'm a bit older, and it was not moving to the new frontier. I mean, that's a big move, a completely different environment, any which way you look at it. What'd you do? You just literally said, I'm moving?
Yeah, well, it was calculated. I mean, it wasn't like complete random spur of the moment thing. Like we had been calculating this since like sophomore year of high school. But yeah, Jacob, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's a long story, but junior year of high school, I mean, to keep it short, like Drew and I knew we wanted to do real estate junior year of high school. So then after that, it was just like figuring out where, because our kind of point of view was like, well, you know, like we could start doing real estate in Iowa, and like that's where we know everybody. We'd probably like do pretty well just by knowing everybody. It's a small world there, so you know literally everybody. But we were like, okay, well, we really thought about like junior year of high school. We really thought about, okay, what is it going to look like in 10 years though? Like how much can we expand doing it in Iowa? So we were like, yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult. It's probably going to take way longer to do it in a place like Arizona. But we were like, in 10 years, it will be so much more worth it. So I think it's like having that perspective of looking that far ahead and like how much you want to grow, because Drew and I want to take it to the moon. Like we want to build a legacy. And like for us, we just couldn't do that in some place like Iowa.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. I forget to bring that up all the time, which really is why we moved, was to a big city. Like, yeah, of course, we don't know anybody here. Like we literally knew one person in the state of Arizona when we moved here. But that was like, that's like the beauty of it, right? And like I'm so thankful for the nights that like we had $350 in our bank account and we were in an apartment complex where the cops came to our door. There were shootings outside, because I'm thankful for that. That's what I wanted. I wanted to put myself in that position. And I don't know if everybody does want to do that, but like, hell yeah, like that's part of my story and I'm fired up about that. So yeah, I wanted a comeback story. I wanted to throw myself in a hole and build myself out. And I think we're now building ourselves out. We got a long ways to go. Thanks to you guys that you guys are making it easier, and we have different ventures that we're going into. But like, yeah, we're definitely starting to build ourselves out.
Hell yeah. I mean, I guess my favorite part about it is what you said is it is your story, and like people all have their different stuff, right? And I think to be able to know that you can, no matter the situation, you really can pull yourself out of it. Like straight up, if you're still listening at this point, first of all, shout out to you. But
Yeah.
like that takes mentality on its own right there. Like, don't be afraid to share your story. And I would be almost I guess my advice would that be is tell everyone as much as you can about where you've come from and what you're doing, just because you would be surprised how many people would want to help and would want to be a part of that story. Because it does, you know, legacy, in my opinion, is however long it takes you to recognize that that's what life really is about. And it just, in my opinion, it's about giving and it's about creating a legacy. If the faster you can figure that out and figure out how you want to do that, the better. And I mean, maybe it would be interesting to hear you guys' perspective. I mean, who at 16 years old knows I just want to jump into real estate, unless it's pushed on by their parents or something else? Like, I mean, at 16 years old, like, I just remember trying to talk to every single girl in the entire school. Like that was my goal. But now, you know what I mean? But like,
Oh,
y'all,
man.
and you know, I always wanted to be successful. I always had that inside, that beast inside of me. But I also knew, like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. It took me a while to recognize that this is the vehicle I want to use to help build that legacy. Like what would be your advice to anyone that's maybe 16 or young, that's like, oh shit, or even straight up, even 30 years old? Like, you never know. And some people need that guidance, and it'd be really cool to hear from all you guys. Like, what did you guys, what'd you guys do to know that? Or what happened?
Well, mine is super strange. There's really two things that I credit like this mentality to. And one is goofy. One is my childhood. So I grew up in I have the most incredible mother. I love my dad with all my heart. But I grew up in a broken home to begin with. And that led me to live in multiple different financial classes. So there was a part of my childhood where we were in a trailer park. There was a part of my childhood where my mom only had $15 in her bank account, but she had 2 sons, and so she had to grind her way out of her hole. And then there's a part of my childhood where my family was multi-millionaires, and we had a basketball court, and we literally had everything. And then beginning of high school, all of that gets stripped away, and we're back to nothing. So I had to make it on my own. And so a lot of that came from like, okay, someone in this family has to like go out and like just someone has to get this back. And I was like, yeah, that's going to be me. So I guess that's where the dog comes from. But then the goofy thing was I played GTA so much growing up. Lucas, I shared this with you.
Yeah, I love this.
So I played GTA, and I wasn't in it for like, you know, the shooting and stuff. Like I was the kid that was always playing with toy cars. And so when I hopped on GTA, it was like I was able to have any car that I wanted. I could buy the house that I wanted. And then eventually I was like, I can just do this shit in real life too. Like I could just go be that person. So I just translated it into real life, and I just asked myself like, okay, how do I get there? What industry has the most millionaires? Real estate. Okay, perfect. Let's learn real estate.
Love that. Love that.
Kind of random.
Larry, after college, I know like it was a transition right after college into real estate for you. Like, how did your mindset switch between college and starting real estate?
Well, it's funny that you even proposed the question like that, because I wouldn't call it like after college, like I successfully, graduated college or something. I was scrambling, bro. I was attending college is what I would call it. Like, that's how I think of it. It was like I was like at a college for like a year and a half. I didn't even know that I thought I was going to graduate. I don't know that I thought when I started that I would actually finish this. And I mean, ultimately to today, I haven't. So, but the mindset shifted, I think when I signed up for college, because I was like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes kind of thing to improve, my situation. And it seems like most people are doing this. And so I was working full time. I was kind of on my own already, and like working full time and going to college and paying for college, so it was already a grind. And so it kind of built that ethic in me, like wake up 7 a.m., go to school till, noon, 1 o'clock, eat like Wawas, on my way while switching into a work uniform, and then go work till midnight, get home at 12:30, and rinse and repeat. And, I really did like college and learning. And I was, Lucas, that guy that went at, I think I was probably 24 or 5 when I first went to college. And I, after a year or so, I was like, this isn't working quick enough, and I don't really have a why for any of these degrees. And I did the math on it. So I can go pay, I was going to a local place. It's like $1,500 at the time, around that. And so you need X amount of credits. I did the math. I don't even have the math anymore, but it was like a lot. Call it somewhere around 30 grand, right? Wow. And 4 years of time. This was right at the point where I started realizing, oh shit, when I spend time, it's money, because you could go then use your time to make money. So I factor that in there as well. The time I'm going to spend at the cost of making money. And at the end of it, I could get a degree if I'm lucky to get, 70 grand a year, but I'm still going to be working for somebody. I'm still going to be on a clock somewhere. I'm still going to be building someone else's empires, their dream and their why. And I met somebody who was a real estate broker, and he was like, why don't you just like get your license? I was looking into it. I was like, well, let's see how much time this will cost and how much money this will cost. And it turned out to where it would cost somewhere around $500 and potentially a month. So, you know, the cost was $500 in a month of time. Call my time worth, you know, $3,000 a month at that time, $3,500, right? I was like, in a month, I'll know whether this, you know, effectively worked or not, right? Because I'll have the license. Obviously, I didn't know if my real estate career would work or not. And so I just did it, man. I was like, that sounds like an awesome investment. I started looking at things and opportunities in my life as an investment. It's like, I'm going to invest a month of my life and $500 of my money and see what that return is. And I will also replace it with something that is taking time in my life, which was school. I got my license, I quit school, and I continued working and you know, trying to sell real estate. And I think maybe months later, 4 or 6 months later, I quit the job and I was like, I'm all in. Let's do it.
Wow. Damn.
Oh, that's so badass. Dude, I love your story, Larry. That's so badass. And to see where you're at now, Larry is killing it, dude. I love it.
Yeah, it gives me some hope.
Thanks,
Larry's
man.
crushing it right now. And this is like the reason why I don't regret not going to college. Because you can even see in this episode, like we get the opportunity to talk to Lucas and Lawrence on the podcast and off the podcast, and we learn so much just about business and life from these two. So don't regret not going to college.
Yeah. If you're not gonna go to college, surround yourself with people like this, because this is my college degree, is hopping on and talking to people like this every day. Holy shit. I mean, I can't compare it to college, but this shit works.
And
Yeah.
I want to tell you, Jacob and Andrew too, like Larry and I are learning from you guys too. Like then that's
Absolutely.
probably, you know, in my opinion, one of the coolest parts is we get to see your story, we get to hear your story, and we get to learn just as much from you guys as you do from us. So I just want you to keep that in mind too, because that's powerful. Everyone's got a lesson to learn, but everyone's also got a lesson to teach too.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This has been a
you guys-
banger, guys. What do we want to do? We want to say one nice thing and wrap it up and go about our day. Go make some moves.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Let's all say a nice thing.
Well, first of all, for those of you still listening, like we love doing this, so we really appreciate the people who are still on this and listening to us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my nice thing.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for the support. We're going to be doing episodes like this every other Monday. So the way it's going to be structured, you're going to see the podcast posted on Wednesdays, and every other Wednesday is going to have a business professional, not just real estate, in all facets of industries. They're going to have a business professional on every other Wednesday, which means every other Wednesday is going to be an episode just like this where you hear from just the boys. And we talk about stuff like this, you know.
Yep. Yeah. Every other Wednesday's for the boys.
Yeah.
It's not Saturdays.
Wednesdays are the boys.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
I would say the
we
only
make
other
sure-
thing I want to add to that is like if you've thought of this and you know helpful, just like give it to someone else, you know, because we're over here spending our time. We don't get paid for this, and just share it with somebody. Help us grow this thing so we can keep doing it, and you know, take something from it and label it as your own and say it to somebody in real life. There's nothing, you know, that hasn't been invented. There's nothing new under the sun. You know, we've just learned all this from people, mentors that we've had. So feel free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? This is my first time ever doing a podcast as well too. And I think just even having the chance to have a conversation like this, like I'm so juiced now to start my week and keep it going from here. And I'll tell you guys, like your mentality is everything. And if there's one thing that always stuck with me in the beginning of how I've ever gotten to my mentality or how I'm further getting it better, it's life always happens for you. even when you don't think it does not happen to you, it happens for you. And I think the moment you can realize that, and I'll tell you this much, I don't know how you guys found our page if you're watching this or what the deal is, but the fact that you did and the fact that you're willing to listen this far, you're on your way to whatever goals you want to achieve. So kudos to you guys. And kudos to you guys for letting me hop on this thing. This is so badass, man. I'm so happy to be a part of that.
It's our pleasure.
We're happy to have you, brother.
Hey,
Yeah, everybody.
we're happy to